Hi, I'm Dan from Peerless Props, and today we're going to be making the Super Shotgun from Doom 2016. Since I wanted to 3D print this, the first thing we needed was a 3D model. Thankfully for my lazy ass, somebody else had already made one. So thank you Whatever 6 on Thingiverse for supporting my poor work ethic. After acquiring a 3D model, we split it up into all of its individual parts and let the printer do its thing. I printed this in white PLA on my Artillery Genius, and in the end it came out to 13 pieces in total. After all the pieces were done comes the not so fun part of 3D printing, the sanding. I used my orbital sander at 80, 120 and then 240 grit, before finally finishing it off by hand with 400 grit sandpaper. I have no idea how long this took me because I didn't keep track, but way too long. Once all the sanding was done, the only thing that was left construction-wise was to fill in all the little gaps and holes with spot putty. And then it's on to paint. For paint, we started off with a grey plastic primer just out of a spray paint can. I'm actually waving the airbrush around doing nothing here because I forgot to film with the can. Then, to get the brown sort of wood effect colour, we used Vallejo's premium airbrush colour Candy Brown, which was actually quite difficult to spray as it was very watery, and as you'll see later, that caused some problems. Once it was all masked off, I painted the rest of it using Vallejo's metal colour Duraluminium, which, contrary to the brown, goes down really nice and easy. Now, if you've ever painted anything and masked it, you'll know that peeling off the masking tape is either the best or the worst part, because it either comes off and your finished product looks amazing, or this happens. NANI? After removing all the masking tape, it did end up peeling off the paint a bit in 3 different places. Thankfully though, since this is a prop from Doom, we're going to cover it in a lot of gore, so it should be fairly easy to patch up. First up, we wanted to give it a layer of grime and dirt and make it look like it'd been dragged around hell a few times. To do this, I just used a watered down black acrylic paint, brushed it on, and then rubbed most of it off with a wet paper towel. This just leaves little bits in all of the cracks and crevices where dirt and grime would kind of naturally accumulate if it was being used. Next, I added some brown acrylic where the paint had been lifted off, and then for the fun part, covering it in enough fake blood to make a Space Marine squirm. To do this, I used a Citadel blood for the Blood God paint and an airbrush to create a realistic splatter sort of effect, because it's really hard to get realistic looking blood with a paintbrush. In the areas where I thought someone's hands would go, I tried to smear the paint a little bit to make it look like the gun had actually been used. And then to complete the effect, since when blood dries it isn't actually just red, you get kind of a variety of colours, we added in a little bit of black to create that sort of congealed, really dried, old blood look. This was then repeated all over the rest of the gun, and it was finished. If you've made it this far, thanks a lot for watching. There's some links on the screen to my Instagram and my Etsy store, and if you want to see any of my other content, you know how YouTube works.